How's it going, guys? Chris Jones, owner-operator at Speed of Sound Audio Experts here in Somersworth, New Hampshire. Got Rob's bike here. We're doing a bunch of stuff to this bike, but the first thing we're going to do is fix this mess. That's for the air suspension. So we're going to, the airbags, so we're going to clean this all up, make it look nice. You know, this kind of stuff here. Like, this is, obviously it's going to get soaking wet there if it rains and he's riding this down the road, so we need to fix that so it's watertight. Same with all this stuff here. Repair all this. We're also going to be putting in a distribution block under here. So I made this plate that's going to mount into a factory bolt. Better shot here. It's going to bolt, go back in here, allow us to mount the distribution block, fuse holder right here on the side, because we're putting a Tour pack on here with 2 amplifiers. But it's also got a stock. It's also got the amplifier that's already on here with this coming down. So we're going to get rid of this fuse holder, and it'll all be in this one fuse holder for all 3 amps right here on the side. So I'll do some more videos once we get to that point. But like I said, for now, we're just going to clean up this mess. So whoever installed the Hertz speakers, not the end of the world. Just not the way that we do it. They actually cut off the stock plugs and put their own plugs on. We, as you, I don't know if you've seen my videos in the past, but we make all of our own connectors. So we plug into the factory plug behind the speaker, and then we connect to our speaker, so that if the bike ever needs to go back to stock and they want to put the stock speakers back in and take out all of their equipment, they can. Also, if this was done on a new bike, if the bike was under warranty, whoever did this would have voided the warranty on the bike. Believe it or not, it doesn't seem like they could, but you cut or splice any wire on these Harleys while they're under warranty and you void the warranty. So the way we do it will never void the warranty. All right, guys, so Rob's bike is pretty much done. We just got to put it back together. Just want to go over what we did here. So we installed 2 amplifiers back here. This was a weird package that he bought. He bought the package from whoever makes this Tour pack. And it was weird because it came with this 2,000 watt mono amplifier. It's a great amp, Euphoria Expert. All right, guys, so Rob came down to listen to his bike. It's all done. I'm going to go over everything with you guys and show you what we did. One thing that we noticed was the front speakers, which are good speakers. They're these Hertz Melee speakers. They weren't bright enough. So basically, because he's got all of this sound in the back, you couldn't hear anything coming from the front. And even though we messed with the DSP and tried to bring everything up to get it a little brighter, you couldn't hear them. So these, again, they're good speaker. They weren't loud enough for him. So we ended up swapping out the Hertz for the ones that we use, which are the Euphoria Expert point source 6.5-inch coax. And we put them both in so he could listen to it and hear the difference. And he wants us to now put in the Euphoria Expert speakers and take these out. So that's what we're doing now. But they want you to run the mono amplifier to the 2/8 and the horns. The horns are 55 watt speakers, RMS. These are 600 watts RMS. So if you know anything about basic audio, you can't run a 600 watt speaker and a 55 watt speaker off the same channel. That's what they were expecting him to do. He didn't know that. He bought the package. He trusted the online company, which, you know, some of these companies are great. I don't have an issue. There's a lot of good online companies. There's a lot of guys that sell stuff online, and they're totally fine. But this is why I always say it doesn't have to be me, but talk to your local shop. Talk to a professional. Talk to somebody that knows what they're doing, because there's no absolute way that you're going to run this amp to a pair of 55 watt horn tweeters. So we sold him this one, also a Euphoria Expert amp. This amp is 55 watts by 4. We're only using 2 channels of this amp. This amp is running the horn tweeters. We have this all DSP'd, so there's an 8-channel DSP on the bike. He does have the SoundStream Reserve radio, so that's good. So he's got Hertz 6x9s in here. Those are running off of an Arc Audio Moto 720 amplifier in the front. He did have Hertz 6.5s in the front. they sounded okay. They didn't sound as good as I thought they should sound. So we put in the Euphoria Expert Point Source 6.5s. They're a little brighter. They're a little more crisp than what was there. The problem is once he added these to the back, you really almost couldn't hear the front speakers. So we needed something that was a little brighter in the front, so we added those to the front. This is all of our custom cable that we installed on here. This here is the audio signal from the DSP. So this carries the RCA signal from the DSP up to the amplifiers in the tour pack. This is plug and play, so you can unplug this. We also installed these quick disconnects for the power wires. So these unplug. So once you unplug these and you unplug this, you can now completely remove the tour pack from the bike. And these are all watertight plugs. So these go here, and obviously they match, so you can't plug these in backwards because you definitely wouldn't want to plug 4 gauge into 8 gauge and 8 gauge into 4 gauge. So down here, we ran first of all, we put a limitless lithium battery in the bike, and we ran 2 4 gauge power wires from the battery to this distribution block, each fused appropriately for the amplifier that it's going to. One's going to the front amplifier, the ARC amp. One's going to the small 55x4, and then this one's going to the mono amp. All fused, again, appropriately for the size of the amp. We also ran, which you can't see in here, we also ran a 1/0 ground cable from the battery to the ground point, which again is hard to see, but it's underneath there, to the factory ground. So there's a 1/0 ground cable going from there to the factory ground. From there is a 4 gauge ground going back here. And then down underneath here is another factory ground point. So there's a 4 gauge from the factory going to that ground. We ran our 2 8 gauge wires, one for the front amp and one for the 55 watt amp, off of there, back one to the rear amp, and then the other one, which you can't see in here, going to the front amp. So if you're from the beginning of this video, there was also a big wiring mess here, all up in here for the air suspension. We fixed all of that, cleaned all that up. We actually, if you can see it under here, took out the regular relay and put in a waterproof relay. So he came down and listened to it. He's super happy with the way it sounds. All kinds of mid-bass coming out of those Euphoria 8s. Just sounds really great. He's taking this to Daytona Bike Week next week. So he's going to have all kinds of great tunes while he's riding around Daytona.
Party every day. What you want me to say? I got that extra money on the